Hello. Testing. Is the microphone on? Perfect. So, hello. This is actually my first public presentation, so as I look around the room, I'm very happy to see some familiar faces. But for those of you that don't know me, my name's Marc, with a C. I head up the new business team at MoPub. We're a leading mobile mediation platform, and arguably the first in the space. We offer tools to maximize your revenue and allow you to manage player experience. When I was asked to give this talk, obviously I was excited, but immediately I got quite nervous. I started thinking back across the last 8 years of mobile, looking for trends, insights, and topics that others hadn't spoken about before. And then it hit me. I've spent my entire career in mobile. Coming of age in an industry that's very much been coming of age has been one hell of a roller coaster. A lot has changed, and we've made a lot of progress. But with progress comes new challenges. So today we're going to take a quick walkthrough of some of the challenges we've solved in the past, and some of the new challenges that face us ahead, and the opportunities. And then I'll be joined on stage by a special guest to talk a little bit about what it takes to be successful in this new world, and where you should be investing your time and resources. So let's jump in. So challenge number one, making games was pretty hard. When the app stores first launched, there were only native tools that were difficult to use, feature light, and required multiple and complicated skill sets to deploy for all platforms. When the mobile space started to show promise, game engines such as Unity and Unreal entered the space, providing leading tools to deploy for platforms, allowing you to hire just one developer that maybe was familiar with Objective-C, or so C++ or C# to deploy for all platforms, which made it far simpler. And these platforms extended the native functionality of the operating systems and also provided the ability to be everywhere at the same time. Unfortunately, this increased competition in the marketplace, and now the market is a lot more crowded than it used to be. Challenge number two, monetization was even harder. So I'm not sure many of you in the room will remember, but originally there were three major independent ad networks. There was Quattro Wireless, which was acquired by Apple and rebranded iAd. There was Millennial Media, which was acquired by AOL and is now part of the Verizon group of companies. And there was AdMob, which was acquired by Google and continues to operate under the same name today. Because of phone capabilities and network infrastructure, these companies were hyper-focused on banner ads, and only later embraced full-screen units such as interstitials and rewarded videos. With the advent of mediation platforms like MoPub and AdMob, it became far simpler to manage your revenue in a smart way, and developers saw their businesses flourish. These platforms innovated in terms of ad formats, machine learning models, and ultimately enabled more and more networks to enter the space. And now developers are struck for choice in deciding who to work with to monetize their business. And the operational work has increased massively to be able to work with all these partners, again, in that smart way. Challenge number three, if I'm keeping count. The data just wasn't there. So once upon a time, developers didn't even know how they were getting paid. So whether that was on the view, whether it was on the click, or even on the install. And they didn't know what their revenue shares were with their platform and network partners. Today, we're seeing an increase in transparency with networks and platforms in terms of what the commercials are. And also, most leading platforms are able to provide data on every ad interaction with a user. We often refer to this as user-level revenue data among the industry. There are variations of that term. At MoPub, we're actually taking this a couple of steps further. So we're providing impression-level revenue data. So you can actually see on every ad interaction of the user what the actual value is. This solves a couple of problems. You're able to buy more effectively and profitably on the user acquisition side. You're able to balance your in-game economy and the reward values that you give out to users based on the actual price. And ultimately, you're able to take much smarter decisions and analyze the impact, opportunity cost, and churn in your properties. The second part we actually do as well is we provide insight into exactly which advertisers are buying your inventory and how much they're paying. So you can start to analyze deeper than just has a user churned, but understand the context around why they've churned. And we give you the controls to block all of those advertisers so you can make the best decision for your business, not ours. Challenge number 4, teams needed to be big. Again, once upon a time, it required multiple and differing skill sets to operate all the different parts of a successful and growing games business. You needed developers, artists and game designers, analysts, and a range of other functions, just to be competitive in a not so crowded but limited market. With the rise of service providers offering out-of-the-box analytics, A/B testing, live ops, inventory and IAP management, it became increasingly simpler to operate a successful game, and teams got leaner than ever. A great example of this is Small Giant Games, which was a Finnish studio of less than 30 people. They exited through an acquisition to Zynga in 2018 for about $560 million in a cash and stock deal. And then challenge number 5. Expertise wasn't commoditized. So originally, monetization manager, or a monetization manager, wasn't a full-time role, only part of someone's role, and definitely not that of an entire team. This was kind of like a self-cyclical problem, that it was hard to demonstrate growth and value. But slowly, as the market matured and developers saw the value of ad monetization, they started to build teams around those functions. They hired commercial people to manage the relationships with networks and platform partners like us. They hired analysts to kind of understand and predict where the business was going and make smart decisions in real time. And they hired operational people that unfortunately have to do the bulk of the day-to-day optimizations and waterfall management. We're, again, trying to go one step further than this, and are already doing the first steps of this, which is offering tools and APIs that allow you to automate that part of the process, from the creation of apps on our platform to setting up a waterfall, creating network placements, and effectively having a game up and running with as little human hours wasted as possible. So that kind of brings us to where we are today. So thanks to companies like Unity, it's become increasingly simple to enter the mobile gaming space. Thanks to companies like MoPub, monetization got a hell of a lot easier. And thanks to service providers like Game of Wows, it's become increasingly simple to have a competitive and thriving in-game economy. But then with problem solved, as I say, there's new challenges and opportunities. So in a minute, I'm going to invite Deniz on stage to talk a little bit about what it takes to be successful in this current market and where they invest their time. So I'll pass over to Deniz from Rollic, leading hyper-casual developer, and he'll give himself a much better introduction. Thank you very much.
Hello guys, I'm Deniz, co-founder of Rollic. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for inviting me. I would like to start by introducing ourselves. We co-founded Rollic in 2019 in January. It's just been 1 year, but we launched 13 new games. And 5 of them are still in top chart right now. If you see that, by the way, I can see my notes. Yeah. Okay. We launched 13 new games in 2019, and 5 of them are still in top chart right now. And we are working with more than 50 developers in Turkish market, and we are testing around 100 games per month right now. If I would like to describe the new word, I can say that there are 3 words. One of them is competition, and the other one is fast movement, and the other one is technology. The competition is getting bigger every day, as you can see in top chart. There are a lot of games, a lot of metrics, and a lot of mechanics in the top chart. Some of them are similar, and you have to be fast because of that. For fast movement, you have to have a technology, because if you find the right game, like lower CPI and higher retention rate, you have to be fast. By being fast, you have 1 or 2 days to develop the game and create hundreds of ads and creating a proper waterfall. That's really important to be fast here. For creating hundreds of ads and launching them, tons of networks we are launching our games. So it's important to have a good technology there. How MoPub helps us to be successful here? MoPub can provide us easy waterfall setup, and it was taking 1-2 days to create a waterfall setup earlier. Once we meet MoPub, they can help us to create waterfall in only 2 hours currently. It's really faster, because you have to be fast, as I mentioned in my previous slide. We have a template for all of our titles, for all of our new titles, and we just create new placements in our networks, then upload it to the MoPub. And it just takes 2 hours to create a worldwide waterfall properly. The other thing is transparency. Transparency is another important part that we work with MoPub, because you have to see it's not enough to create a proper waterfall. So you have to see the data to optimize your waterfall with the transparency. With the MoPub analytics, we can see our data properly and transparent way. We can see the auctions, latency data, and etc. With the help of MoPub, we can optimize our waterfall properly. And the last thing, the most important thing for me, actually, impression level revenue data. This is new for us, because we were optimizing our campaigns by using our tracking tool in 2019, and it takes a lot of time to get manual reports from your tracking tool, then optimize the campaigns. There need to be a lot of people working on that stage. Technology, impression level revenue data helps us a lot at this point, because we see how much we earn from the user. One user can see the ad, how much we earn from that user in impression level. We can, for example, we launched lately Woodshop. Maybe you see in top chart, it's 3rd place right now. We are using that impression level data, and it helps us to scale more. Because if you see your user, how much you earn from a user from the day 0, then you can optimize your campaigns on the UA side. That's not just monetization side. You can also optimize your UA campaigns properly, because we can see the data. Data is there anymore. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Marc or Deniz? Any questions for Marc or Deniz? Well, actually, I have one for you. If I've got an existing game and I can do one thing to kind of improve the monetization of that game, what one thing would you recommend that I start doing that I'm probably not doing?
What do you mean? Can you repeat again?
I have a game that's out there. It's been out there for a while, but the monetization is kind of flattened out. I can change one thing with you guys. What one thing should I do to try and improve that?
I'm not sure about that, because you need to optimize your waterfall at that point, because there are a lot of networks, and you need to know which networks is working well for you.
Making sure my ad waterfall is optimized.
Of course.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? We've got one over here.
Thank you. Hi, Marc. I'm using another mediation company, and I was using MoPub as an ad network. like other ad networks, AdMob or Facebook, and then you change this strategy, and now if any gaming company is using any other mediation company, they cannot use MoPub as ad network. Why did you change this strategy?
Yeah, so I think what Erdem's referring to is last year we made a change in our commercial strategy. So there's some differences with the different mediators and how they position themselves. So IronSource and AdMob are network businesses that have mediation, but we're a mediation business that has an exchange. For us, we consider it strategic and long-term to support developers in their growth in the mobile monetization space. And our premium demand is additional and supplementary to what they get to the networks. We decided to disconnect from other mediators to align our positioning with the fact that we don't consider ourselves a network. So for any developers that are interested in Twitter's proprietary demand or working with us to optimize their waterfall, that can only be done directly through us, not through Max, not through AdMost, not through any other mediation platform in the market. Cool.
Guys, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Deniz, thank you for being a huge sponsor today. We really appreciate that too.